Let's say that you're fucking constantly thinking about a person. Like, honestamente, no puedes parar de pensar en ellos, meaning you honestly can't stop thinking about an individual, right? And you just feel very, 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 very anxious. That's not your fucking intuition, that's anxiety. Why? Because intuition is a calm feeling of your inner knowing, and I have experienced it hand to hand. Let's dive in, cabrones. Okay, I want to talk about something very important as a spiritual person or somebody that can give you spiritual advice on how to understand yourself, how to understand your thoughts. What's actually an intuitive hit and what's actually just your anxiety? An intuitive hit feels calm, anxiety, or a looping thought is not your intuition. A few days ago or a few weeks ago, I had the chance to be able to talk to an individual that was no longer my reality, right? Having conversations with this individual, I came to realize, I came to find out that damn, some of these intuitive hits that I was having were actually true. But how did these intuitive hits actually arrive? These intuitive hits, they kind of arrived in the middle of my sleep, in the middle of me being awake, in that specific state. I would wake up, I would have a thought, boom. A few days later, during this conversation, those specific thoughts were confirmed. And that's now how I get my most strongest intuitive hits. In the middle of my sleep, in the middle of me being awake, I specifically have this random thought, and then I completely forget about it. And then a few hours later, it comes back and it goes, that's an intuitive hit. I do not sit with it where it constantly repeats in my head. That is anxiety, right? So, one thing that I want to specifically point out is a lot of people don't realize that you do have intuitive hits. There's multiple different intuitive hits, and there's multiple different ways to actually be able to perceive intuition. But one of the most strongest ones, if it comes down to you being energetically connected to a person, you just feel it. You don't think it. You don't sit with it. You don't constantly create loops in your head about a situation, about a worry. If you're constantly thinking that you are energetically connected to a person, that's going to drain you. If you're pretending to think that you are connected to a person, that's going to drain you. But if you actually feel like you are connected and then you go about your day, you feel your emotions, you go about your day and you don't feel drained, you don't feel anxious, you don't feel confused, that's most likely some form of energetical connection that's still active right there, right? Don't confuse anxiety with intuition, because one thing that I will tell you is that your intuition will feel calming, your anxiety will feel alarming, and you yourself will not know how to distinguish it because you're gonna be so hyper focused on relooping a thought that you are currently creating in your head. Intuition is just a calm feeling of knowing. It goes away, it comes back, it goes away a few minutes, a few hours throughout the days. But again, your intuition is peaceful. Your thoughts that are anxious are the ones that are most likely not true. Okay? Take care, cabrones.